I was halfway through reviewing a $2.8 billion aerospace licensing agreement when the door creaked open behind me. Not a knock, not a word of warning, just that slow, smug creak. I didn't even turn around. "Give me 10 minutes, I said, eyes still on page 74. "We're close." That's when Carter Day walked in like he owned the air in the room. No folder, no laptop. Just that stupid half smile and 2 buttons undone on his overpriced blazer. Behind him, the room fell dead silent. I glanced up and immediately caught it. The look in his eyes. Not rushed, not annoyed, certain. That's when my gut dropped. Carter clapped once sharp. "Let's pause here. Sorry, team, I need a moment with Russell." I didn't move. I just looked across the table at Terrence from legal. Nothing. His hands were folded like he was praying. Erica, who'd been with me for 12 years, wouldn't meet my eyes. Carter stepped forward and grabbed the contract draft out of my hand like it belonged to him. Then he said it, right there in front of my whole team. "We're realigning leadership. Need more velocity, more adaptability. Russell's a legacy overhead. We're moving on." No emotion, like he was cutting dead weight. I stood up. "You're firing me." He tilted his head, fake sympathy all over his face. "We appreciate everything you've done, but it's time I waited for someone, anyone, to speak. Maybe Erica, maybe Terrence. Hell, even one of the interns in the corner. Nobody did. They just looked down at their notepads like I was already gone." Carter nodded toward the door. "Security will walk you out. We'll forward your exit package." I didn't say a damn word. I didn't grab my briefcase. Just stood there for a beat, then reached for the contract, still warm from my hands, and tucked it under my arm. "FYI," Carter added as I turned, "this new deal we're finalizing with Ethereum Defense, $6.7 billion. It's going to put the quarter through the roof. Real win." He grinned, not at me, at the team, like he wanted applause. I walked out, no panic, no fight. I didn't even shut the door behind me, left that for Carter. That was at 9:03 a.m., Monday morning. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. And that contract he ripped out of my hands still didn't have my signature, but the system I built, it doesn't move without me. The elevator doors closed, sealing me into that slow metal box with gray carpeted walls and the faint smell of lemon cleaner. I pressed L and leaned back, still holding the unsigned contract under my arm. Nobody chased after me, no calls, no shouts, just silence. The numbers ticked down, 11, 10, 9, and that's when it hit me. I gave this company 18 years. I started here at 24, temp assistant, community college degree, no connections, no pedigree. My mom was cleaning the lobby floors on night shift while I was upstairs sorting files for executives who didn't even know my name. I'd stay late, hours after everyone left, reading contract language I barely understood, page after page, clause after clause, until the words stopped looking like English and started looking like leverage. 7, 6, 5. I didn't have a mentor. No one ever pulled me aside and said, "Here's how this works, kid." I figured it out by watching everyone's mistakes, then making fewer of my own. Every promotion I got, I earned because I outworked someone who got lazy or stopped paying attention. I went from assistant to regional lead in 6 years, international contract management by my late 30s, VP by 46, outlasted 3 restructures, lived through 1 insider breach, a whistleblower scandal, and a cyber attack that almost crippled our core systems, until I spotted a buried clause on page 201 that saved the company $84 million and a federal audit. Nobody remembers that now. They remember Carter's haircut and his TED Talk voice. They remember the rooftop mixers and his next-gen mindset. But the systems, the pipelines, the compliance trees, every single piece of the contract architecture they run on, I built from scratch. The elevator hit ground level with a soft ding. I walked through the lobby without a word. The receptionist didn't look up, probably already got the email. Outside, the September air was cool and sharp. I crossed the lot to my car, climbed in, and shut the door behind me like I was sealing off the past. I sat there a minute, engine off, hands resting on the steering wheel. Still no calls. That's when I reached into the glove box and pulled out the matte black flash drive. Smooth, solid, no logos. Just a strip of biometric tape along the bottom and a single red indicator light, still dark. I set it on my lap. Clause 9X. 7 months ago, a junior analyst tried to push through a $1.2 billion maintenance package by faking my digital signature. I caught it, buried in an internal audit, logged and documented, but no real consequences. Carter was still new back then. One-off error, he said. Don't overreact. So I wrote Clause 9X, a protocol embedded deep inside the contract engine, hidden under 7 layers of verification, encrypted, tied directly to my biometric data. If any billion-dollar contract moved forward without my signature token, the system would silently auto-null it in 9 minutes. Just a quiet kill switch. Carter signed off on it during a hallway pass by. Never even read it. Makes us look bulletproof, he'd said, flipping through the summary. Stamp it. I looked down at the flash drive in my hand, still resting on my thigh. They thought I was just a signature, just a name at the bottom of a PDF. But I'm the damn system. I slotted the flash drive into the laptop, mounted under my dashboard, and waited for the interface to load. The screen blinked once, then opened the admin dashboard. Offline mode, fully isolated from Hartley's network. And right there at the top, in red text, alert. Token mismatch detected. Clause 9, X triggered, auto-null initiated, countdown 8:41. I exhaled, slow, didn't call legal, didn't text Erica. I just stared at the screen. Because now, I wanted to see what happened next. The countdown ticked from 8:41 to 8:35 before I even moved. Nothing loud, nothing dramatic. Just that silent red text crawling down the screen. I kept my hands on my lap and let the system run. Now, the EDA deal, $6.7 billion, international defense licensing, 2 foreign governments watching, was sprinting toward a wall no one else saw coming. Countdown, 7:48. I tapped a few keys and pulled up the metadata. Carter's assistant had pushed the contract through the final review queue just minutes ago. No signature token attached, no verification timeout override. Just a nice clean document heading straight into execution with a rotten line of code burning under it. All because Carter needed to prove something. He didn't care about infrastructure. He didn't understand trust. He wanted to move fast, launch big, hit numbers that made board members drool. To him, I was dead weight. A relic. Countdown, 7:13. I zoomed into the back-end logs. The platform was still pinging for my token. It would keep trying for exactly 9 minutes before it locked, erased the execution call, and flagged the contract as invalid. Auto-null, no recovery. And when that happened, every system tied to that deal, vendor onboarding, payment schedule, security credentials, API access, would brick instantly. All of it built on trust chain logic I had coded myself. I watched the dashboard pulse, steady, waiting. No alerts had hit the main system yet. The admins were probably still celebrating the deal, thinking they had just secured the quarter. Countdown, 6:45. I thought about calling legal, briefly. Terrence had worked under me for almost a decade. He wasn't evil, just quiet, careful, a survivor. He might have stepped in earlier if someone else had spoken up first, but no one had. Not Erica, not the engineers, not the board. Not one person had looked up when Carter threw me out of my own conference room. Countdown, 6:02. I shifted in the seat and opened the secondary log window. The alert had duplicated, just like I coded it. One on the system side, one mirrored on my offline dash. No stopping it now. If Carter knew what was coming, he'd be sweating through that fancy jacket by now. But he didn't know. Countdown, 5:38, then 5:37, then 5:36. My thumb hovered over Bridget's name. She was head of compliance, sharp, no nonsense, and one of the few people in that building who actually knew how the guts of the system worked. If I gave her 60 seconds and one sentence, she could shut Clause 9X down, maybe even patch it before Carter noticed. I stared at the contact. One tap and I could stop the collapse. Not for Carter, not for the board. For the 22 people who'd stayed late every Friday for the last 3 years to keep that platform running. The people who didn't look up, but still, good people. I swallowed and hovered, thought about it. That's when the ping hit. New email. Subject line, Q4 strategy notes, internal only. I didn't recognize the sender at first. One of Carter's little strategy drones. But then I saw the CC list and my own name sitting there, dead center. Probably muscle memory, habit. They'd been looping me in on leadership chains for years. Forgot I wasn't in the club anymore. I opened it, just a 2-paragraph bullet dump about the EDA rollout timeline and press strategy. Nothing crazy, until the last line. He was just a placeholder. Let's clean up his mess. That sentence didn't hit me hard. It just clicked something off. I lowered the phone and let my thumb slide off Bridget's name, closed the contact list, turned the screen face down in the passenger seat. I didn't feel rage, didn't even feel insulted, just done. I wasn't a placeholder, I was the foundation. I was the guy who caught the breach that should have cost us our federal clearance. The guy who redlined a clause in the China-Japan tech deal that would have triggered a violation under 2 separate treaties. I personally rewrote 70% of the framework they're still using to authenticate high-trust contracts. Placeholder? Carter had no idea what the hell I did, and now he never would. Countdown. 4:12. I leaned back in my seat and looked through the windshield. Sun was creeping up over the lot, catching the silver strip on the roof of the security shed across the pavement. Everything felt still, even the air. My dad's voice came back to me, quiet and sharp, same way he said it the day he caught me faking sick to skip a shift at the car wash. Leave your name clean, son. Always I built the system to protect what mattered. Trust, chain of custody, authenticity, no marketing gimmicks, no shortcuts, just control, the kind you earn. Countdown, 3:29. I didn't touch the laptop, didn't touch the phone. Let the sun warm the inside of the windshield as the dashboard glowed in soft, silent red. I could already picture the control room upstairs, probably finishing their victory coffee, prepping a press blast, laughing about the new numbers. They had no idea what was coming. Countdown, 2:51, 2:38, 2:17. Inside Hartley HQ, 33 floors above my parked car, Carter Day was in full performance mode. Glass conference room, floor-to-ceiling windows. Big screen glowing with the Ethereum defense slide deck. Teal gradients, military logos, projected revenue numbers stacked like trophies. Execs packed the table. PR team hovered near the wall, ready to hit send on the press release. One camera already rolling. Carter stood front and center in a dark gray jacket and white-soled sneakers, like a CEO cosplaying as a disruptor. He clicked through slides fast, voice smooth and rehearsed. This deal positions us ahead of Q4 expectations by 17%, he said, grinning. We've set the new standard for vertical integration in the aerospace defense sector. A couple weak claps. Saria Patel, VP of Strategy, nodded once but didn't smile. She'd been there too long to trust a show. In the corner, Michael, one of the junior associates from finance, raised a hand halfway. Carter? We've got a token mismatch in the ledger. Contract's not clearing. Carter didn't even look. Yeah, it's got it. It's just lag. Run the override. Sir, Michael said again, this time louder. System won't accept the override. Admin locks rejecting the input. A small pause hit the room. Heads turned. Carter finally looked up from the clicker. What the hell are you talking about? It's a token. Get it in here. Someone called down to engineering. 2 minutes later, a guy with shaggy hair and a wrinkled badge walked in. Noah Schaefer, back-end lead. One of the few engineers who knew the old system inside out. I taught him half of it myself. He walked up slow, leaned toward Carter, and whispered something that dropped Carter's fake smile cold. Carter barked, "Speak up." Noah straightened, voice quiet but steady. It's not a token issue. It's Kane. He's the system dead silence. On the main display, the contract queue flickered. A red bar blinked across the top. Then came the flood. Log windows popping open, cascading down the screen like a slot machine gone wrong. Errors stacked, authentication failures, invalid signature tokens, auto-null response confirmed. Carter turned to legal. What the hell is happening? Terrence looked pale. There's a protocol. something buried in the core. I didn't think it was active. Override it. We can't. At exactly 9:12 a.m., the screen went black. Across the table, Erica slowly set down her coffee. A small line of white text appeared in the center of the screen. Authorization token missing. Execution revoked. Contract invalidated. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Panic doesn't show up all at once. It starts in the eyes, then the throat, then the breath, then the hands. I could picture Carter's perfectly moisturized fingers digging into the edge of the table as everything he thought he'd locked in slipped out from under him. Phones lit up around the room. Notifications, internal alerts. Ethereum Defense yanked their pipeline API access instantly. The project folder went dark. Staging assets disappeared. Licensing keys vanished. Entire dashboards blinked out. Every piece of infrastructure tied to that deal collapsed in under 60 seconds. And me? I was still in my car. The sun had climbed a little higher. I could hear the faint buzz of landscaping crews 2 buildings over. The laptop beeped once. Soft, not urgent. Clause 9. X complete. Auto-null confirmed. 9/12/03. No confetti. No explosion. Just a cold, efficient kill. I didn't smile, didn't flinch, just breathed. Because the system I built, it was doing exactly what I designed it to do. By 9:16, the statement from Ethereum Defense Corp hit every inbox at Hartley Systems. Subject: immediate contract withdrawal, failure of chain trust. Body: authorization token invalid. Primary architect's signature missing, chain of trust compromised, contract void. 10 words. 6.7 billion gone. Inside HQ, the conference room shattered. Phones lit up. Slack exploded. Someone knocked over a pitcher of water trying to grab a call. I pictured PR scrambling to pull the press release. Legal opening incident folders they hadn't touched since the Russia breach. The stock price dropped 4% in the first 8 minutes, down 14 by lunch. By 9:30, every team had pivoted into damage control, except Carter. He was still trying to run the narrative. "This is just a back-end mismatch," he said, pacing like a trapped animal. "We'll fix the token issue and resubmit." No harm, no foul. Terrence, arms crossed, finally spoke up. "You can't just resubmit." Ethereum flagged the chain. "They don't trust the platform anymore. It's a damn glitch." "No, sir," Noah said from the far side of the room. "It's protocol." Executed by design, Carter pointed at the screen. "Then fix it." "I can't." Russell wrote it. He was the only one with the legacy token. That's when the door opened. Boardroom, 15th floor, private access, big dogs only. Saria Patel walked in, crisp suit, zero expression. She didn't take a seat, didn't nod, just walked straight to the head of the table. "I just got off the phone with Zurich," she said. Everyone froze. "They're not suing. Not escalating. No threats." She paused. "They're going forward with the project, but not with us." Carter blinked. "What do you mean, not with us?" Saria dropped her folder on the table. "They want Russell Kane. No Hartley Systems involvement. Not now. Not ever. That's ridiculous." "No, what's ridiculous," she snapped, "is that you removed the only person who could sign the damn thing." Carter's mouth opened, closed. Nothing came out. "The audit logs are clear," she went on. "You overrode 2 admin warnings and deleted the legacy owner tag last Friday. The platform flagged it. Ethereum saw it. Their team in DC confirmed it this morning. I was realigning leadership," he mumbled. "Weaker now?" "No." "You were gutting the infrastructure for a headline?" Saria turned and walked toward the door. "They're moving the entire contract to Kane's LLC. We're done here." Nobody followed her out. Carter stood there, small suddenly. Jacket wrinkled, face pale, hands shaking like he was still trying to wake up from it. Across town, I was still in the car. I heard the buzz of a notification. Ethereum Defense Contract officially reassigned. No alert tone, just a soft vibration through the leather console. I didn't smile, didn't nod. Just sat back in silence, watching the empire I carried for 18 years fall apart under its own weight, and I didn't lift a finger to stop it. The buzz came at 10:25 a.m., soft and steady across the dash. Unknown number, Zurich code. I let it ring once before answering. Russell Kane. Mr. Kane, the voice said, crisp and smooth. Matthias Kruger, Strategic Director, Ethereum Defense. I didn't speak, just waited. We're moving forward with the project, he continued. No delays, no press. But we need a clean platform, locked execution, full compliance. Then you'll need a new vendor. We already have one. He let it sit a second. We're offering the contract directly to your LLC, Kane Dynamics. Full execution rights, total architecture control, full indemnity. Zero corporate interference. Just you. I stared through the windshield, watching a delivery truck struggle into a tight parking space across the lot. You know, I haven't taken an external contract in over a decade. Yes, he said, but you incorporated 6 months ago. Delaware, privacy wrapper, no employees. Quiet move. Smart move. My mouth stayed shut. Matthias wasn't guessing. They'd done their homework. We're offering $1.1 billion, he said. That includes 5 years of maintenance support and international licensing rights under your name. The system you built worked exactly as it should. We trust it. We trust you. No pitch, no bargaining, just a clean offer. And they already knew my answer. I looked at the matte black flash drive on the console. Still plugged in, still warm. Fine, I said. We'll wire over the draft before noon Zurich time. Everything will route through Kane Dynamics. You'll have full signature control. I nodded to no one. Matthias added one last thing before hanging up. You didn't burn them, Mr. Kane. You just stepped out of the way. The line clicked off. I sat still, didn't replay the call, didn't grab a pen or call a lawyer. I just exhaled and leaned back in the seat. This wasn't payback. This was business. I set up in a corner booth at a quiet cafe off Broad Street. Small place, no music, no phones ringing, just the hiss of an espresso machine and the occasional clink of silverware. My coffee stayed hot. I liked that. I opened my laptop and waited for the encrypted VPN to tunnel through. Kane Dynamics, Incorporated. One login, no subdomains, no bloated dashboard. Just clean code, simple structure. The Ethereum licensing agreement loaded almost instantly. $7.1 billion, more than double the last deal I signed at Hartley. Everything was ready, clauses clean, jurisdiction settled. Military-grade digital lock on all endpoints. My platform, my name. At the top of the screen, the system flashed a single line in bold. Voice authentication required. Primary architect only. I waited a beat, then leaned in slightly and said, Primary architect, Russell Kane. The mic clicked. Screen pulsed once. Verified. Execution authorized. Contract live. Across the cafe, a guy scrolled through his phone. News alert lit up his screen in the big red text. I couldn't see the whole headline, but I didn't need to. I already knew. I clicked over to my feed. It was everywhere. Hartley Systems COO Carter Day resigns amid $7.1 billion contract failure. A blurry photo showed Carter walking out of the building, head down, suit wrinkled, the wind catching one side of his open coat. The caption was brutal. Too fast to fail. I closed the browser, closed the contract, closed the laptop. Didn't smile, didn't shake my head, just let out a slow breath. Outside the window, traffic moved like it always did. No parades, no headlines with my name on them. Just Tuesday, normal. I took another sip of coffee, still hot. That was enough. I pulled out of the cafe lot slow and quiet. Nothing rushed, nothing loud, just the soft hum of tires on warm pavement. Hartley Systems towered in the rear view. Steel, glass, the logo still gleaming under the sun like it meant something. I didn't look long, just long enough to watch it start shrinking. That building used to be everything. Now it was just noise in the mirror. They called it a system, a machine, a scalable solution and platform, but they forgot the part where systems need structure, and people who know how to hold that structure up. I didn't feel proud of what happened. No part of it felt like revenge. What I felt, clarity. I built Clause 9X for one reason. Not power, not leverage, respect. You want billion-dollar decisions backed by machines. You better make damn sure the architect's still holding the keys. I didn't add the kill switch out of spite. I added it because I'd seen what happens when people with no skin in the game cut corners. They treat everything like it resets tomorrow, like trust can be patched later. Carter didn't see it that way. He saw age, salary, slowness. He saw me as dead weight, legacy overhead. But I wasn't legacy. I was the code, the scaffolding, the chain of logic, the last handshake before execution. He thought he won at 9:03 when he took the contract out of my hand. At 9:12, the system answered back. By 10 o'clock, Kane Dynamics had replaced a billion-dollar corporation. That's what they never understood. The system didn't need a speech or a warning. It just needed one thing: absence. And when I stopped holding them up, stopped catching their errors, smoothing their egos, patching the holes they didn't even know they'd left, it didn't take long for the whole thing to drop. I didn't set it on fire. I just let it fall. And that was enough.